You close your eyes and imagine yourself stepping back in time, into a world where the heart of daily life beats not in a marketplace, not even in the forum, but in a place of water, stone, and steam. This is the Roman bathhouse, a cornerstone of existence in the empire. And for you, it becomes more than a building. It is an experience that unfolds slowly, carefully, one sensation at a time. You find yourself at its entrance, the hum of voices already drifting through the air, the warmth of heated stone radiating even before you pass the threshold. From the outside, the structure towers with confidence, its arches and columns suggesting a strength that matches the empire itself. You see people of all walks of life making their way inside. Soldiers recently returned from campaign, their shoulders stiff from long marches. Merchants with tired eyes after a day of bargaining. Children clutching the hands of their parents, their chatter mingling with the footsteps on marble floors. For the Romans, bathing is not simply washing dirt away. It is a ritual of health, community, and status. And as you imagine yourself among them, you begin to feel the pull of this daily ceremony. Step by step, you draw closer to the entrance. The massive doors are worn from countless hands pushing them open, a polished sheen left by generations. Inside, you are met by a low hum, a combination of laughter, murmurs, and splashes that echo off stone walls. The air carries a blend of scents, oils, sweat, and a faint mineral tang from the water itself. This is not the private, hurried bathing of later centuries. This is collective, public, and almost sacred in its repetition. You are a guest, but in this imagined world, you are also a participant. The first thought that enters your mind is how central this place is. You begin to understand why Roman writers so often spoke of baths as daily necessities. For them, bathing was as important as eating or sleeping. It was expected that nearly everyone would go, from senators to freedmen, from scholars to gladiators. The bathhouse became a unifying ground where barriers blurred, if only for a few hours. And in this imagined stroll, you see that inclusiveness unfolding before your eyes. You notice the structure's size. Some bathhouses were modest, built for a small town or a neighborhood. Others, like the baths of Caracalla or Diocletian in Rome, could host thousands at once, spreading across acres of marble and mosaics. In either case, the effect is overwhelming. You feel dwarfed by the scale, as if the empire itself were embodied in these walls. Arched ceilings stretch high overhead, designed to let light filter through windows of colored glass. The faint haze of steam softens the details, making the place feel dreamlike. Your feet slide across cool marble, polished smooth by centuries of use. Along the walls, niches hold statues of gods and emperors, a reminder that bathing is not merely physical, but spiritual. To bathe in Rome is to honor the body, the divine, and the social order all at once. You hear the scrape of a strigil in the distance, a soft metallic sound that suggests someone is cleaning themselves of sweat and oil. You hear the rhythm of footsteps, sandals slipping off as people prepare to step further inside. The bathhouse is alive. You sense it in the way voices overlap, the way water splashes, the way the heated floors radiate a subtle warmth upward into your souls. You feel almost lulled by it, as though the steady repetition of sound and heat is already easing you into relaxation. It is not just about hygiene. It is about letting go, about finding a rhythm to your day that calms both body and mind. As you picture yourself standing near the entrance hall, you see attendants moving gracefully among the crowd. They offer assistance, guide newcomers, and watch over the belongings of the bathers. They are the invisible hands that make this great system flow. Without them, the order would collapse, and, for a Roman, skipping the baths was unusual. The philosopher Seneca might have urged simplicity, but even he lived in a city where the baths echoed daily. To be clean was to be civilized. To bathe was to participate in culture itself. It was a moment of restoration after long hours of labor, a chance to reconnect with friends, or even to hear the latest political whispers. And so, as you linger in this first impression, you feel the layers of meaning building quietly, like the layers of steam that soften the walls before you. Your mind follows the sound of laughter. Somewhere deeper inside, perhaps in the tepidarium, voices rise and fall in casual conversation. You know that you will soon walk there yourself. But for now you pause at the threshold, breathing in the mixture of warmth and mineral air. The weight of centuries seems to rest in this place, and yet it feels immediate, as though you are truly present. The Romans created bathhouses not only as monuments of engineering, but as temples to everyday life. To stand at their entrance is to understand something profound about the empire's priorities: health, social harmony, and a shared sense of rhythm. You let that realization settle as you continue to stand there, imagining the cool marble beneath your toes, the shifting sounds of water, the steady breath of steam rising around you. You do not need to rush further yet. This is only the beginning of your journey into the Roman baths, and already you feel a sense of calm spreading through you. Just as the bathhouse was meant to ease the mind and body, so too does this slow unfolding ease your thoughts. You are here in spirit among the people of Rome, standing quietly at the threshold of their daily ritual, ready to take your first step inside. You take a step beyond the first threshold, and the world of the Roman bathhouse stretches before you with a sense of ordered motion. It is not chaos, though the sounds and sights press in from every side. It is a rhythm, a flow that carries each visitor along from room to room. As you walk further, you notice how the building itself is designed to guide you naturally deeper inside, almost like a river with its current. The layout is purposeful. The baths are not a random collection of pools, but a carefully arranged sequence that takes the body on a journey, coaxing it from the chill of the outside world toward warmth, cleansing, and eventually relaxation. The first large chamber you enter is called the apoditerium, or the changing room. Before you go further, however, your eyes wander to the sheer size of this entry space. The ceilings arch high, allowing the echo of voices to roll like waves overhead. Rows of niches carved into the walls are filled with oil flasks, towels, and sandals, each placed with care. Benches line the perimeter where bathers sit, loosening belts and slipping off garments. The air is warmer here than outside, but not yet steamy. It is a transitional space preparing you for the journey to come. You pause and watch the people around you. Some are hurried, eager to shed the dust of the day and plunge into warmth. Others linger, talking casually as they slowly undress, their gestures relaxed, as if they have all the time in the world. Attendants, often slaves, move quietly among the crowd. Their role is practical yet essential. They help secure belongings, offer guidance, or provide oil for later use. You notice the faint glint of coins being exchanged, the small negotiations of daily service. As you stand there, you realize the bathhouse is more than a physical cleansing. It is a theater of human interaction. Every sound amplifies this impression. The laughter of young men joking with one another, the softer tones of older citizens discussing politics, the sharp scrape of sandals across the marble floor. Your ears catch fragments of conversation that echo like a chorus. Talk of the latest gladiatorial games, whispers of imperial decrees, even idle speculation about trade and weather. It feels like stepping into a microcosm of Roman life itself. The design of the bath complex is intentional in another sense. You notice how the rooms are arranged in sequence to gradually warm the body. The transition is gentle, never abrupt. The Romans believed that shocking the system too quickly was unhealthy, so each space serves as a step toward balance. Here in the apoditerium, you are at the beginning of that path, preparing yourself both physically and mentally for what lies ahead. You feel the smooth stone beneath your fingers as you brush the wall while moving slowly forward. The wall is cool, polished by centuries of touch, yet faintly damp from the breath of steam that drifts from deeper chambers. The light in the room is soft, filtered by small windows high above. It glows against the marble, making the floor shine as if sprinkled with water. You feel as though time itself is softened here, stretched into something slower, more deliberate. Now you focus on the movement of the crowd. Bathers do not rush, they flow. Each person seems to know instinctively where to go, as though the building itself teaches them. You watch as a group of men, half undressed, walk calmly toward a doorway on the far side. The steam that curls outward from that opening tells you what lies beyond. The tepidarium, the warm room that waits to embrace them. You feel yourself pulled in that same direction, step by slow step, as if carried on a gentle current. But before you leave, you let your eyes rest one last time on the scene around you. A child laughs as his father helps him remove a tunic. An older man folds his cloak carefully, setting it into a niche with deliberate precision. A woman visiting a smaller separate chamber for you step into the next chamber, and at once the air grows heavier with warmth. This is the apoditarium's heart, the place where garments are left behind and the body is prepared for the true bathing ritual. The changing room is not silent, but its sounds are softer, rounder, shaped by the low murmur of countless voices blending together. You feel yourself drawn into its rhythm, as if each scrape of sandal against marble, each fold of fabric, and each quiet laugh becomes part of an ongoing chorus that has echoed here for centuries. You look around and notice niches carved neatly into the walls. They are not decorative but functional, small cubbyholes where bathers place their belongings. Some are filled with neatly folded tunics and cloaks, carefully stacked as if their owners wish to preserve a sense of order even in leisure. Others are crammed with sandals, belts, and the odd pouch of coins. These niches tell a silent story. Here, every person leaves behind their outer identity. The senator, the soldier, the craftsman, the merchant, each sheds their clothing and steps forward into a shared space, bare and equal. Attendants, often enslaved but skilled in their duties, move quietly between bathers. Their gestures are practiced, efficient, yet almost invisible. One takes a man's sandals and places them in a niche. Another hands a small flask of oil to a woman preparing for her bathing routine in a separate section. You sense how important these attendants are. They are the guardians of belongings, the facilitators of ritual, the unseen foundation that allows the bathhouse to function smoothly. You hear the faint jingle of coins as a bather tips an attendant. Payment is small but expected, a token of trust to ensure that clothes and valuables remain safe. For you, this exchange reveals something deeper. The bathhouse is not free of hierarchy, even in its promise of equality. Those who can afford more may secure better oils, finer towels, or more attentive service. Yet still, within the steam and stone, the sense of shared humanity outweighs differences. You picture yourself slipping off your sandals, feeling the smooth coolness of the marble floor against your bare feet. The air around you is warmer now, carrying the faint mingling of scents. Olive oil, sweat, and the mineral tang of heated water drifting in from deeper rooms. Each breath feels fuller, heavier, as though the atmosphere itself is part of the cleansing process. You roll your shoulders, loosen your posture, and imagine yourself preparing to join the steady procession moving toward the warmer chambers ahead. Across the room, groups of bathers gather in small clusters, chatting casually as they undress. Their conversations are not hurried. One man speaks of the latest victory in the arena, his words punctuated by laughter. Another discusses grain shipments arriving at the docks, his voice low and thoughtful. A pair of young men joke together, their laughter bouncing lightly across the marble. You catch fragments of dialogue, not enough to form whole stories, but enough to know that this space is more than physical. It is a stage for connection, for the weaving of daily life. The sound of cloth being folded, of sandals being stacked, of attendants' footsteps shuffling softly across the floor. All of it creates a rhythm, a steady hum that lulls you deeper into the moment. The longer you linger here, the less you feel the urgency of time. The bathhouse is not a place of rushing. It is a place where life stretches, slows, and invites you to breathe more deeply. You notice how the light falls differently in this chamber. High above, small windows let in beams of sunlight that cut through the faint mist. Dust motes and droplets shimmer in the air, catching the golden glow. The walls, smooth and pale, reflect that light, softening the atmosphere. It feels as if you are standing inside a vessel designed not just for cleansing, but for serenity. a temple of stillness disguised as a bustling hall. A man passes you, his body gleaming faintly with oil applied before the heat of the next room. His skin catches the light, and you notice how the sheen emphasizes the shape of his muscles. For the Romans, bathing is not only about removing dirt, but also about presenting the body as something tended and honored. Oils protect the skin from heat, but they also give it a certain dignity, a polished appearance. You realize how much thought and tradition are woven into even the smallest details of this ritual. Nearby, a child giggles as his father kneels to help him untie his sandals. The sound is bright, quick, breaking through the deeper hum of adult voices. The father's smile is soft, patient, a reminder that this place is not just for the powerful or the old. It is for everyone, a communal hearth where generations mingle. You let yourself smile at the image, feeling warmth beyond the physical heat. Slowly, you begin to move toward the doorway on the far side of the chamber. The air grows denser as you approach, the promise of the tepidarium drawing you in. You can see faint wisps of steam curling into the room, soft and inviting. Your body responds instinctively. You feel a quiet anticipation, as though stepping closer to comfort, closer to surrender. You pause one last time in the changing room, turning back to observe. The scene feels timeless. Bathers folding clothes, attendants gliding between niches, conversations rising and falling like gentle waves. You let the image settle in your mind, knowing it will stay with you even as you step forward. The apoditarium has done its work. It has eased you from the outside world into this inner realm. Now, with your body lightened of clothing and your mind softened by the rhythm of voices and stone, you move toward the doorway. The warmth beckons. The tepidarium awaits. You are ready to let yourself drift deeper into the embrace of Roman bathing. You step slowly into the tepidarium, and the shift in atmosphere is immediate. The air is warmer, heavier, but not oppressive. It wraps around you like a cloak, a gentle embrace that eases your muscles without startling them. This is the room designed to guide you deeper into comfort. The Romans understood the body's need to adjust gradually, and here, in this warm chamber, you begin to feel that wisdom. The light is softer than in the changing room. It filters in through small, high windows, diffused by the rising mist that hovers gently in the air. The walls are clad in polished marble, their surfaces glistening faintly with condensation. You notice how the stone seems to glow in the dim light, reflecting shapes that blur at the edges. The atmosphere is both solid and dreamlike, as if you are stepping into a world half submerged in water. You listen to the sounds. They are muted now, softened by the weight of steam. Voices drift lazily, their tones hushed, as though warmth itself has calmed their owners. You hear the quiet slap of footsteps on damp floors, the occasional splash of water, the scrape of a bench as someone shifts their weight. Nothing here is sharp or jarring. Every sound flows into the next, a lullaby of motion. You take a seat on one of the smooth benches that line the walls. The stone is warm beneath you, its heat radiating slowly upward, seeping into your muscles. You close your eyes for a moment and feel your body loosening, your breath deepening. In this space, you are not hurried. You are allowed to linger, to let the warmth work its way through your skin, into your bones. Around you, others are doing the same. A man leans back, his eyes half closed, his arms stretched lazily across the bench behind him. Two women murmur softly to one another, their voices rising and falling like the tide. A young man rubs oil into his arms, his motions slow and deliberate, as if time itself has slowed within these walls. The tepidarium is a place not just of transition, but of pause. It invites stillness, a gentle waiting before the intensity to come. You let your gaze wander across the chamber. The ceilings are high, supported by arches that rise gracefully, their curves softened by the mist. The craftsmanship is astonishing. Every detail speaks of Roman skill, the symmetry, the balance, the way the room holds heat without stifling. Beneath the floor, runs the hypocaust system, channels where hot air from furnaces circulates, warming the stone beneath your feet and the walls around you. You cannot see it, but you feel it in every breath, every touch of the marble. The invisible fire sustains this sanctuary. You stretch out your hand and trace the condensation on the wall beside you. Droplets gather and slip downward in slow trails, leaving faint, glistening paths behind them. The movement is mesmerizing, a tiny river running down smooth stone. You follow it with your eyes until it disappears at the base of the wall. In that simple motion, you feel the stillness deepen, as though even the smallest detail here is designed to quiet the mind. Your body is warm now, and you feel a subtle change within yourself. The tension in your shoulders has eased, your breathing is slower, more even. You imagine how the Romans must have valued this gradual warming, how it prepared them not only for the physical shock of hotter rooms, but also for a deeper sense of release. It is not merely about the skin or the muscles, it is about aligning body and spirit, step by step. Nearby, a father dips his hand into a small basin of water, sprinkling it over his child's arms with a smile. The child laughs softly, the sound echoing gently against the stone. The moment feels tender, intimate, yet shared with everyone present. In the baths, privacy is surrendered to community, and yet comfort is not lost. Instead, it grows, expanding outward like the warmth itself. You take another deep breath, the air filling your lungs with a moist heaviness. The scent is subtle, olive oil, faint traces of herbs carried on the bodies of bathers, the mineral edge of water heated by stone. The mixture is soothing, grounding you more firmly in this imagined space. The longer you linger here, the more the world outside fades. The noise of streets, the weight of obligations, the rush of daily life, all of it seems distant now, muffled by the walls and the steam. In the tepidarium, there is only warmth, only stillness, only the slow unfolding of time. When you finally rise from the bench, your body feels heavier, yet in a comforting way. The warmth clings to you, carrying you forward. Ahead lies the caldarium, the hot chamber where the body will be tested and purified. But before you step into that greater intensity, you let yourself pause one last time here, soaking in the gentleness of the tepidarium. You stand at the doorway, feeling the warm mist curl around your skin, and you know this room has prepared you. Your body is loose, your mind calm. You are ready to move deeper into the Roman bathing ritual, to feel the heat of the caldarium waiting just beyond. You step forward, and the warmth intensifies until it feels like you are walking into the breath of fire itself. This is the caldarium, the hottest chamber of the Roman baths, the place where the body is tested, cleansed, and remade in heat. The first thing you notice is the density of the air. Steam hangs heavy, pressing against your skin, curling into your hair, clinging to every surface. The space is alive with it, every breath thick, as though you are drinking in warmth rather than air. The room is vast, and yet the mist softens its edges, making it seem infinite and enclosed at once. Through the haze, you can just make out the shimmering surface of a large hot pool, its water rippling faintly as bathers slip into it. The stone around the pool glistens with moisture, every surface beaded with condensation. Droplets gather and fall in slow rhythm, tapping gently onto the floor like the quietest of drums. You feel the heat rising from beneath your feet, a steady glow radiating from the hypocaust system hidden below. Furnaces burn tirelessly in chambers beneath the floors, their fire circulating hot air through brick channels, heating not only the stone but also the water in the pools. You cannot see these fires, but you feel their constant presence, a heartbeat of flame sustaining this sanctuary. Around you, bodies glisten. Men and women, depending on the arrangement of the bathhouse, move slowly through the steam, their skin shining with oil, their hair damp and curling against their temples. Some sit on the edge of the pool, their legs dangling in the steaming water. Others recline against the warm stone, their faces flushed, eyes half closed in quiet surrender. A few immerse themselves fully, slipping into the hot pool with a sigh that dissolves into the mist. You watch one man lift a small bronze ladle, pouring steaming water over his shoulders. The water cascades down, carrying sweat and oil away, leaving behind a glistening sheen. Another bather rubs his arms with oil, then uses a curved strigil to scrape it away, the metallic rasp softened by the muffled acoustics of the room. These are the rituals of the caldarium: heat, oil, scraping, repetition. Each movement simple, each serving to purify the body further. The sound here is different than in other rooms. Voices are hushed, their tones softened by the thick steam. You hear sighs, the splash of water as someone slips beneath the surface, the faint metallic scrape of a strigil in practiced strokes. The acoustics blur edges, turning everything into a low, continuous murmur, as though the chamber itself were humming gently. You lower yourself onto one of the warm benches along the wall. The stone radiates heat, soaking into your back and shoulders, seeping deeper with every moment. Your muscles respond instantly, loosening, softening, yielding to the warmth. You close your eyes, and for a moment, it feels as though the heat has dissolved the edges of your body. You are no longer distinct, but part of the mist, part of the stone, part of the ritual unfolding around you. As you sit there, you imagine what this meant for Romans. The caldarium was not just a place to sweat, it was a place of renewal. Heat purged the body of impurities, drew toxins out through the pores, left the skin cleaner and softer. But it also worked upon the mind. To endure the intensity of the caldarium was to surrender, to let go of tension and control. It was both cleansing and humbling. Through the haze, you see a group of men gathered near the pool, their conversation barely audible over the sound of water. They speak in fragments: politics, trade, idle speculation. The heat slows their voices, makes their words linger. Even here, even in the midst of steam, life outside the baths filters in, and yet it feels softened, as though the caldarium itself insists that nothing beyond these walls is urgent. You reach out and let your hand trail along the damp marble beside you. The stone is hot to the touch, slick with condensation. Droplets gather at your fingertips, warm as they roll down your skin. You bring your hand back to your lap and feel how quickly the water evaporates in the heat, leaving only a trace of warmth. Every detail reminds you that this is no ordinary chamber. It is a place where fire, stone, and water converge. A bather nearby dips a sponge into the hot water and squeezes it over his shoulders, the stream of liquid running down his back in glistening lines. You watch the way he exhales slowly as the water strikes him, his body softening further into ease. Another sits silently, head tilted back against the marble wall, eyes closed, lips parted slightly as though in a half-sleep. The caldarium does this. It blurs the line between waking and dreaming, between the physical and the ethereal. You inhale again, and the air fills your lungs with heaviness. It is humid, almost weighty, but strangely soothing. The scent is faint: olive oil, damp stone, and the metallic trace of bronze vessels. Nothing is overwhelming. Everything is balanced, blended into a single atmosphere that holds you, lulls you, invites you deeper into calm. When you finally stand, your body feels heavy with heat, your skin damp with sweat. You know that the next step in the journey awaits. The caldarium has cleansed you, purged you, but the baths are a cycle, not an end. Ahead lies the sharp relief of the frigidarium, the cold plunge that will seal this process, close the pores, and awaken the senses. For now, though, you linger one last time. The mist swirls around you, veiling faces and forms, softening every edge. You take in the sound of water lapping, of sighs fading into the steam, of the fire's heartbeat echoing beneath the stone. The caldarium has done its work. You are emptied, softened, prepared for what comes next. You leave the enveloping heat of the caldarium, and with each step the air begins to shift. The steam thins, the heaviness eases, and your body, damp with sweat and oil, anticipates what lies ahead. You are moving toward the frigidarium, the chamber of cold water, the sudden shock that completes the cycle. The Romans understood the power of contrast, and you are about to feel it for yourself. The doorway opens, and at once a cool draft brushes across your skin. It is startling at first, a breath of crisp air after so much warmth. You pause, letting your body register the change. The frigidarium is brighter than the rooms before, its walls catching the light more sharply, its atmosphere clear and almost austere compared to the dreamlike haze of steam you have just left behind. The space feels larger, more open, and in its center lies the pool of cold water, still and gleaming, like a mirror waiting to be broken. The sound here is sharper, cleaner. You hear the splash as someone plunges into the pool, the water slapping against stone before settling back into ripples. A man exhales sharply as he surfaces, his gasp echoing off the high ceiling. Another bather laughs quietly at the shock of the cold, the sound ringing bright in the cool air. Unlike the muffled sighs of the caldarium, the noises here feel crisp, as though even sound itself has been refreshed. You step closer to the pool, and the chill radiates upward, wrapping around your legs, your arms, your face. It makes the hairs on your skin rise. You stand at the edge for a moment, looking down into the water. It is clear, reflecting the arches above, broken only by the occasional ripple as another bather moves through it. The surface shivers with light, small patterns dancing across the walls. Slowly, you lower yourself into the water. The first touch is a shock, a jolt that rushes through your body, pulling your breath in sharply. The heat that had softened your muscles now erupts into tingling cold, every nerve alive, every pore snapping shut. You sink deeper, letting the water envelop you, feeling its grip seize your skin, then release into a kind of exhilaration. The contrast is dramatic, but it carries with it a clarity that the heat alone could not provide. You immerse yourself fully, ducking your head beneath the surface. The world disappears for a moment into silence, the coolness wrapping around you completely. When you rise again, droplets stream down your face, your chest, your arms, each one icy and invigorating. You take a long breath, deeper than any before, and feel your lungs expand with a new kind of energy. Around you, others do the same. Some plunge quickly, their bodies breaking the surface with splashes that echo through the chamber. Others move more slowly, lowering themselves inch by inch, grimacing at the cold before settling into it. A group of young men challenge one another to stay submerged longer, laughing as they emerge with wide eyes and quick breaths. Each person responds differently, but all share in the same ritual: the shock, the renewal, the awakening. You lean against the edge of the pool, your arms resting on the stone ledge. The cold water continues to flow around you, stealing away the heat, leaving you sharper, clearer, more awake. The contrast with the caldarium feels profound. Where heat had softened and blurred the edges of your body, the frigidarium defines them again. You are acutely aware of every surface, every breath, every beat of your heart. The architecture here is different too. The ceiling arches high, creating a sense of openness. Windows are placed to let in brighter light, which reflects off the water in shimmering patterns. The mosaics on the floor and walls are vivid, their colors sharpened by the clarity of the air. Scenes of dolphins, fish, and watery deities seem to move with the rippling reflections, as though the entire room celebrates the element of water itself. You notice how quiet the chamber becomes after each plunge. The initial gasp, the splash, the laughter. It all fades quickly into stillness, as though the cold draws out not just heat, but also words. Silence settles over the bathers, a calm born from the intensity of sensation. It is a silence that feels pure, almost sacred, as if the cold has washed away not only sweat, but also noise. You close your eyes and let the chill settle deeper into you. Your skin tingles, your breath steadies, your thoughts clear. In this moment, you feel as though your body has been reset, cleansed in a way that heat alone could not accomplish. The cycle is complete, warmed, opened, purged, and now sealed by the cold. When you finally climb out of the pool, droplets streaming down your body, the air feels different. Cool, yes, but no longer shocking. It is refreshing, bracing, a perfect balance after the intensity of the caldarium. You stand there for a moment, water dripping from your fingertips onto the marble floor, and you realize how deeply the Romans understood the human body. They built not just a bath, but a rhythm. A journey through sensation that leaves you renewed. You look back at the pool, its surface calm again, its reflections steady. You know others will follow, repeating the ritual, plunging into its clarity. For now, though, you have felt it yourself, the sudden shock and the quiet renewal that follows. The frigidarium has done its work, and you are ready to move on. As you step away from the frigidarium, the air begins to temper once more, and your skin still tingles from the plunge. This is the moment to address a ritual that the Romans considered essential: scraping the skin with a strigil. You notice bathers retrieving curved bronze tools from small stands near the walls. The strigil, simple in design yet essential in purpose, is held like a small sickle, its edge polished smooth, ready to glide across skin. You observe a man lifting a small pot of oil, rubbing it into his arms and torso. The oil is thick and fragrant, likely scented with herbs or flower essences, designed not only to lubricate the skin, but also to protect it from the drying effects of heat and cold. Once applied, he takes the strigil in hand and begins a slow, methodical motion, scraping the oil, sweat, and dirt from his body. The sound is a soft rasp, almost hypnotic, blending seamlessly into the gentle hum of the bathhouse. You can almost feel the sensation yourself. The scraping is neither harsh nor painful. Instead, it is a tactile rhythm, moving across muscles and skin with a steady precision. Each pass of the strigil removes the remnants of heat and cold, leaving behind only the skin's smooth surface. The process is deeply satisfying, a kind of cleansing that touches both body and mind. You imagine the sensation on your own arms and legs, the subtle resistance of oil giving way beneath the curved metal, a quiet meditation in movement. Across the room, others follow the same routine. Some bathe in pairs, gently assisting one another, while others work alone, their faces calm, focused. You notice how the strigil is used not only on limbs but across the back, the chest, even the shoulders. The technique requires patience and attention. It is slow, deliberate, almost ceremonial, a quiet art passed down through generations. You can see why the Romans prized this practice so highly. Unlike modern bathing with soaps and scrubbing brushes, the strigil combined tactile cleansing with a moment of pause, a chance to focus on the body in a deliberate, respectful way. The ritual was part of the rhythm of the bathhouse: heat, oil, scraping, then cooling and rinsing. Each step reinforced the next, preparing the body for relaxation and the mind for calm. The sound of scraping blends with distant splashes from the pools, creating a layered rhythm. Your attention drifts to the subtle differences in each person's technique. Some are swift, efficient, their motions confident and practiced. Others move more slowly, savoring each stroke, each pass of metal over skin. The variation is fascinating, showing that even within a shared ritual, individual expression persists. You notice the effect on the bathers themselves. Skin shines, glistens with the residue of oil now removed, catching the light that filters in through high windows. There is a sense of satisfaction on their faces, a quiet pride, as if each stroke completes a small act of mastery. The ritual becomes almost hypnotic as you watch, drawing your own thoughts into its steady cadence. The oil itself is worth considering. Made from olive oil and sometimes infused with herbs or perfumes, it protects the skin while softening it, making the scraping process effective yet gentle. The Romans were meticulous about these details. They understood that cleansing the body was as much about preservation and care as it was about removing dirt. Each element of the ritual serves a purpose, every movement a part of the larger design of well-being. You imagine joining in, applying oil to your own shoulders and arms, then lifting the strigil and drawing it across your skin. The feeling is strangely meditative, each scrape a reminder of the body's contours, the curves of muscles, the soft stretch of skin. You become aware of your own heartbeat, the rhythm of your breathing, the subtle warmth remaining from the tepidarium and caldarium. Even children observed this practice, though in a simpler form, and the elite had attendants to help apply oil and scrape. Yet the principle remained the same: attention to the body, a deliberate cleansing, a moment of care that prepares the skin for the next phase of bathing. It is a sensory ritual as much as a hygienic one, a pause that bridges the extremes of heat and cold. The sound, the movement, the sensation all combine into a quiet meditation. You watch the cycle continue, each bather methodically scraping, rinsing, and smoothing their skin. There is no rush, Each stroke, each pass, feels like a heartbeat, marking the rhythm of the bathhouse itself. By the time you step back from the process, you feel not only cleaner, but strangely attuned to your own body. The Strigil has done more than remove oil or sweat. It has made you conscious of touch, of pressure, of warmth and cold. You feel aligned, aware, and ready to move toward the softer pleasures that follow. Massage, oiling, and the gentle relaxation that will ease you into the bathhouse's final indulgences. The ritual concludes with a simple gesture, placing the Strigil back in its stand, wiping hands on a cloth, and pausing to enjoy the sensation of smooth, polished skin. You sense the bathers around you doing the same, sharing in a silent acknowledgement of the body's renewal. With your skin now clean and polished, the bathhouse welcomes you into the next phase of indulgence, massage, oils, and relaxation. This is where the Romans extended the ritual beyond mere cleanliness, turning it into an experience of sensory pleasure and bodily care. The air here carries a richer scent, a mixture of perfumed oils and the subtle musk of damp stone, blending into something strangely calming, yet invigorating at the same time. You watch an attendant, skilled and deliberate, move toward a bather with a small bowl of oil. The oil glistens in the soft light, a pale amber that promises both fragrance and nourishment. With gentle hands, he pours it onto the bather's shoulders, then begins to rub it in smooth circular motions. The effect is immediate. Muscles that had been stiff from the heat and cold relax further, the tension of the day melting beneath the pressure and warmth of practiced hands. You feel drawn into the motion, imagining the sensation for yourself. Every stroke of oil over skin becomes a small massage, a tactile reminder of your body's contours. The hands are firm but gentle, adjusting pressure according to the body's responses. You notice how the massage not only loosens muscles, but also invigorates circulation, spreading warmth and energy to places you didn't realize had tensed. The practice is not hurried. Time seems to stretch in the room, marked only by the subtle sounds of moving hands, soft sighs, and the gentle drip of oil that falls onto marble surfaces. Other bathers lie or sit in various postures, each enjoying the ritual at their own pace. Some close their eyes, letting the world fade entirely, while others speak softly to attendants, directing pressure or requesting attention to specific areas. You notice the different types of oils used. Olive oil is common, but infused oils, lavender, rosemary, or myrrh, add a fragrant dimension, soothing both skin and senses. Applied methodically, the oil not only nourishes the skin, but also enhances the tactile experience, making every movement glide smoothly and leaving behind a faint, lingering scent that contributes to the overall calm of the bathhouse. Massage is more than indulgence. It is a form of wellness. The Romans believed in balance, care of the body, mind, and spirit. Skilled attendants could loosen stiff shoulders, ease back pain, and even invigorate the circulatory system. You can see why this element was considered essential. The baths were designed to restore, to awaken, and to harmonize the senses, not just to cleanse the surface. As you drift further into the imagined scene, you notice a pair of friends reclining together, their conversation soft and intermittent. One gestures to the other's tense back, suggesting a spot for more pressure, and the attendant obliges with a practiced hand. You hear the gentle scrape of a Strigil from an adjoining chamber, the distant murmur of the tepidarium, and the occasional splash from the caldarium pool. Everything merges into a steady rhythm, a lullaby of sound and sensation. Children, too, experience a gentler version of this ritual, often guided by parents or attendants. Oils are dabbed lightly onto small limbs, rubbed with care, the movement slow and deliberate. Even the youngest bathers begin to sense the duality of relaxation and care, the connection between touch and comfort. You imagine yourself lying on the warm marble bench, hands sliding over your skin, the faint scent of herbs filling the air. Your muscles yield completely now, your back loosening, shoulders softening, and every breath deepening with a sense of release. Time feels irrelevant. The bathhouse has created a bubble where external concerns cease to matter. where only the rhythm of water, stone, and skilled hands dictate your experience. The massage flows into quiet reflection. You sense how tactile attention, oil, rubbing, stretching, extends into mental relaxation. Each gentle stroke allows thoughts to drift, concerns to fade, and a subtle sense of meditation to take hold. Here, in this chamber of warmth and care, the physical and psychological merge. The Romans understood that cleansing alone was not sufficient. Indulgence and relaxation complete the ritual. Even as you rise, the sensation lingers. Warmth in your muscles, lightness in your body, and a sense of calm that spreads outward. Bathing has become a journey of sensation, each phase building upon the last. From heat to cold, scraping to massage, your body and mind have been engaged, nurtured, and renewed. You step slowly toward the next area, aware that social life, conversation, and observation will continue to accompany the physical rituals. The bathhouse, now more than ever, reveals itself as both sanctuary and social arena. The oils have softened your skin and your thoughts, preparing you for the mingling, gossip, and gentle interactions that await in the communal spaces ahead. Now that your body has been cleansed, heated, cooled, and massaged, you begin to notice the social heartbeat of the bathhouse. This is more than a place for hygiene or relaxation. It is a hub where Romans interact, discuss, and observe, all within the echoing marble halls. You can see why historians often describe the baths as the social center of Roman life. Politics, gossip, business, and friendship converge here, all layered atop the rituals of bathing. You glance around the chamber. Groups of men lean against walls engaged in quiet conversation. Some discuss matters of the forum, elections, decrees, or minor scandals. Others speak of more mundane topics, the latest shipments of grain, the condition of roads, or rumors of gladiatorial contests. Women, in their separate sections or times of day, exchange advice on hair, skin, and family matters. Children listen, learn, and occasionally interrupt with laughter, creating a lively yet harmonious soundscape. A merchant sits nearby, whispering to a friend about prices and contracts. His tone is soft, careful, aware of the public nature of the space. You notice that the baths are simultaneously private and communal. People are exposed physically, yet maintain their social rituals, negotiating, conversing, and observing without losing decorum. There is an unspoken etiquette that governs behavior. Laughter is acceptable, but mockery less so. Prolonged staring is impolite, but casual glances are tolerated. You notice the use of gestures and posture. Leaning forward slightly signals engagement, while reclining indicates ease and relaxation. A subtle nod can confirm agreement. A hand raised slightly might indicate the desire to speak. In this way, the bathhouse becomes a theater of social interaction, where the body's openness mirrors the openness of conversation. Every movement, every glance carries meaning. You observe small clusters forming spontaneously. One group debates the merits of a recent Senate decision. Another shares news from distant provinces, recounting exotic goods, strange customs, or surprising events. Children gather nearby, whispering questions and gossip, absorbing adult life in a safe, contained environment. Even the presence of servants or attendants is part of the social rhythm. They move silently, yet their interactions with bathers are also coded, nuanced, signaling service, respect, or alertness. The architecture itself encourages observation and conversation. Open spaces, benches, and pools are arranged to allow casual contact without intrusion. You notice how a slight incline in the floor channels movement naturally, guiding bathers past one another in a way that encourages interaction, yet preserves dignity. Marble steps into the pools invite lingering, conversations broken by occasional splashes. Light filtering through high windows casts shadows that soften faces and create a gentle intimacy. Food and drink, though less common than conversation, also appear. A small tray of fruits, honey, or wine might be shared among friends or passed from an attendant. The act of offering and accepting sustenance strengthens bonds, a subtle reinforcement of social ties that mirrors the rituals of oil, water, and massage. Everything in the bathhouse is part of a continuum. Care for the body, attention to the senses, and the nurturing of community. You imagine yourself seated in one of these spaces, observing, listening, and occasionally contributing. The words flow around you, layered like a gentle current, carrying news, opinion, and laughter. You recognize the rhythm now. Talk is punctuated by movement, splashes, and scraping. Moments of quiet alternate with bursts of energy. Children's voices rise, then fade into murmurs. It is a living organism, sustained by the people who enter and the rituals they follow. Even disputes are softened by the environment. Heated arguments rarely escalate. The heat, the water, and the calm rhythm of the building encourage tempering and reflection. You see that the baths not only cleanse the body, but also shape social behavior, creating a space where civility is reinforced, where alliances are built, and where gossip flows under subtle control. You sense the layers of intimacy here. Strangers may brush past, yet the shared experience of bathing breaks down some social barriers. Here, wealth and status matter less than skillful conversation or ease of manner. You notice how gestures, smiles, and the tone of voice convey subtle power, influence, and approval. The baths are a stage, but one where even minor players have their moments, and where observation is as important as participation. As you linger in this imagined scene, you realize that social life and physical ritual are intertwined. One cannot exist fully without the other. The Roman bathhouse was designed to engage the senses, the body, and the mind simultaneously, creating a holistic experience of society in action. By observing, participating, and moving within it, you are not merely bathing, you are learning, connecting, and absorbing the pulse of civilization itself. Slowly you rise from the bench, feeling the combined effects of warmth, cold, oil, massage, and conversation. The bathhouse has taught you something essential: that daily life in Rome was a carefully choreographed interplay of body and society, each reinforcing the other. You step forward, ready to explore the structure itself, to see how the architecture enhances this ritual, and how design supports both physical and social functions in perfect harmony. With a sense of social rhythm now settling in, your attention turns to the architecture of the bathhouse itself, a marvel that supports both physical and communal life. Every wall, floor, and ceiling has a purpose. You notice the deliberate symmetry and careful orientation of spaces, guiding bathers from one experience to the next. Each room has been constructed to influence the body, the senses, and even behavior. The floors are marble or stone, cool to the touch in cooler chambers and warmed beneath the hypocaust in hotter rooms. The heating system is ingenious. Furnaces below the building send hot air through hollow floors and walls, keeping the caldarium and tepidarium at consistent temperatures. You feel the faint heat radiating upward as you walk, a gentle reminder that engineering and comfort are intertwined. This careful management of temperature allows bathers to move from warmth to cold and back again without shocking the body too harshly. High arches stretch overhead, supporting ceilings that give the rooms both grandeur and openness. The arches are more than decorative. They allow air and steam to circulate, maintaining balance between humidity and ventilation. You notice how light filters through windows placed high above, softening surfaces and reducing glare. The interplay of light and shadow enhances the sense of calm, encouraging long pauses and lingering observation. Pools of various sizes occupy key spaces. The caldarium contains a hot pool, the tepidarium a warm one, and the frigidarium a cold plunge. Each pool is positioned strategically, its location reinforcing the intended sequence of movement through the bathhouse. You can see the care in the depth and shape of the pools. Shallow areas allow for standing or sitting, while deeper sections invite full immersion. Stepping into a pool, you feel the water cradle and support the body, an extension of the architecture itself. Mosaics and decorative art are present in nearly every chamber. They are more than adornment. They communicate themes, values, and stories. Fish, dolphins, and water nymphs on floors and walls remind bathers of the natural world, connecting the sensory experience of water and heat to myth and symbolism. Scenes of gods, heroes, and everyday Roman life reinforce cultural knowledge, subtly teaching social and moral lessons even in moments of leisure. Corridors and doorways are designed to guide movement naturally. You notice how each transition from room to room feels like a subtle instruction. The apoditerium leads gently into the tepidarium, which softens the body for the caldarium. The frigidarium then reawakens the senses, and finally, massage chambers and open halls allow for socializing and reflection. The architecture enforces rhythm, creating a seamless flow that bathers follow almost instinctively. You pause in one of the corridors connecting chambers. The walls are smooth and polished, reflecting the diffused light, and you notice small basins and fountains along the way. These provide water for rinsing, for cooling, or simply for drinking. Even minor details like this are thoughtfully integrated, showing that the bathhouse is a complete ecosystem, designed for every sensory and practical need. The ceilings are often vaulted or domed, which serves both aesthetic and functional purposes. They create a sense of expansiveness, of openness, making the chambers feel larger than they are. But they also allow steam to rise naturally, preventing condensation from becoming overwhelming and helping maintain comfort in heated rooms. The combination of beauty and function is evident everywhere you look. Acoustic design is another subtle feature. The sound of footsteps, splashing, or conversation is carefully modulated by the shape of walls, ceilings, and arches. Noise carries, but never harshly. Echoes soften the environment, reinforcing a calm rhythm while allowing the social life of the bathhouse to continue without disruption. You notice that seating is arranged strategically. Benches line walls, sometimes in tiers, allowing people to watch, rest, or converse. Pool edges are rounded for comfort, steps are wide and shallow for safe entry. Even the smallest detail, the placement of niches for clothing or oil, has been planned to guide movement and ensure efficiency. There is an elegance to the logic of it all, a harmony between function, beauty, and human experience. The bathhouse's design is holistic. Heating, lighting, acoustics, water flow, and decoration all converge to shape the experience of bathing. It is more than a building. It is an instrument, orchestrating both physical comfort and social interaction. The Romans understood that architecture could influence behavior, calm the mind, and enhance the body. As you walk slowly through these halls, you feel the rhythm of the space itself. Each step, each glance, each breath is guided by design. The bathhouse teaches its lessons quietly. Respect the sequence, honor the body, engage socially, observe, and participate. You understand now that every detail, from the curvature of the ceiling to the placement of a pool, has a purpose in shaping the ritual. You pause in a central hall, letting the harmony of design, warmth, and social life wash over you. The bathhouse has become more than a place for cleaning. It is a carefully orchestrated world, a microcosm of Roman knowledge, engineering, and culture. Every element works in concert to engage body, mind, and spirit. Now, after moving through the chambers and experiencing the architecture, your attention turns to the cultural significance of Roman bathing. The baths were not just about hygiene, they were a reflection of Roman values, priorities, and social norms. They represent a civilization that celebrated physical care, communal engagement, and the blending of leisure with education. You notice how even small gestures carry meaning. Greeting another bather with a nod, offering a seat, or sharing a sponge or oil subtly reinforces social bonds. The baths are a place where etiquette matters as much as relaxation. Conversation is layered with unspoken rules, humor is light, debates are tempered, and observation is an art form. The bathhouse encourages both participation and discretion, teaching its visitors a kind of social literacy alongside physical care. Beyond personal interaction, the baths reflect Roman attitudes toward health and the body. Daily routines of bathing, oiling, scraping, and immersion were considered essential for maintaining vitality. Romans believed that a well-cared-for body supported a disciplined mind. By integrating exercise, heat, cold, and massage, they created a holistic approach to wellness that combined pleasure and functionality. Every detail, the order of chambers, the timing of immersion, the use of oils, was informed by this philosophy. The baths also served as spaces for political and economic networking. You imagine senators, merchants, and artisans meeting here, their discussions shaped by the relaxed environment. Debates could be initiated or continued while reclining on a bench, alliances forged in casual conversation, and disputes observed, softened by the calm atmosphere. The act of bathing, paradoxically, became a backdrop for strategic maneuvering, a neutral ground where social hierarchies could be navigated with subtlety. Education found a place in the bathhouse as well. The mosaics and frescoes depicting mythology, historical scenes, or moral lessons functioned as visual storytelling. Even as bathers relaxed, they absorbed narratives that reinforced cultural knowledge. Children and young adults, observing these images while accompanying their families, learned history, ethics, and social norms through immersion in daily life. The baths were classrooms as much as sanctuaries, with lessons delivered through sight, touch, and conversation. You observe how status played a nuanced role. Wealthier visitors might afford private rooms or additional services, yet the communal areas blurred distinctions. A low-born artisan or a freedman could interact within sight of a senator, though deference and etiquette structured those encounters. This mixture of accessibility and hierarchy reflects the Roman approach to society. Integration tempered by respect for roles and boundaries. Entertainment also intersected with bathing. Music, poetry, and occasional performances provided auditory stimulation, enhancing the sensory experience. You imagine the soft strumming of a lyre, the quiet recitation of verse, or the occasional laughter from a comedic display. These elements, combined with water, warmth, and massage, create a rich tapestry of experience, engaging multiple senses at once. Health practices extended beyond mere bathing. Physicians often recommended specific routines, advising on timing, sequence, and intensity. They understood the effects of heat and cold on circulation, muscle relaxation, and even mental state. You sense the bathhouse as a living laboratory, where daily practices reinforced medical wisdom and promoted overall well-being. Religion and ritual sometimes played subtle roles. Offerings to gods of health or water, or symbolic gestures before entering pools, could be observed in certain contexts. While not overtly ceremonial for everyone, these small practices reinforced the sanctity of the bath, emphasizing respect for nature, water. The psychological effects of bathing are evident even today, as you reflect on the sensations you have experienced. Heat softens, cold sharpens, touch relaxes, and movement energizes. The baths were designed to balance extremes, creating a rhythm that aligns mind and body. Participation in this daily cycle fosters both discipline and pleasure, structure and release. The baths also promoted observation and self-awareness. Mirrors were uncommon, so the reflective surfaces of water encouraged attention to posture, movement, and gesture. You see how Romans trained themselves to be conscious of their physical presence, social interactions, and public demeanor, all while enjoying comfort and leisure. Even as the day progresses, the rhythm continues. Bathers come and go, the chambers echo with footfalls, splashes, and soft voices. You notice that these movements create a subtle choreography. Each person's presence affects the space, contributing to a living, breathing environment. It is a dynamic balance of individual and collective experience. In this context, you understand that the bathhouse is more than infrastructure. It is a cultural institution. It embodies Roman ideas about wellness, social cohesion, education, and pleasure. Each detail, from the heating system to the mosaics, from etiquette to ritual, reinforces a worldview that celebrates the human body, communal life, and the art of daily living. You pause to take it all in. The warmth lingering on your skin, the echo of conversations, the gleam of polished marble, the subtle fragrance of oils and herbs. The bathhouse is a space that teaches, soothes, and connects, a microcosm of Roman civilization in stone, water, and steam. After experiencing the culture and architecture, your attention shifts to the rituals of exercise and movement that often preceded or accompanied bathing. Many Romans began their bathhouse visit with light physical activity, a practice designed to open the body, increase circulation, and prepare the skin and muscles for heat and water. You can almost see them now, a small courtyard, a palastra, where bathers stretch, wrestle, or jog lightly in the open air. The air here is fresher, carrying the scent of sun-warmed stone and faint traces of olive oil from earlier baths. You observe young men practicing wrestling techniques, their movements fluid, controlled, and deliberate. Their skin glistens, muscles flex and release rhythmically. And even in exertion there is a sense of grace. This exercise is not merely about strength, it is about coordination, endurance, and presenting the body at its best. Others engage in running or ball games. Children dart around laughing and learning agility and teamwork through play. The older bathers demonstrate more refined exercises, stretches, balance routines, and slow, precise movements designed to awaken every muscle group. The air is filled with energy, yet it is measured, controlled, and purposeful, a precursor to the calming immersion that follows inside the baths. You notice that exercise and bathing are deeply linked. Warming the body through movement prepares the muscles and skin for the heat of the tepidarium and caldarium, while also stimulating the senses. Circulation increases, sweat begins to form naturally, and the body becomes more receptive to the cleansing and therapeutic properties of water and oil. There is a logic to the sequence, a rhythm that enhances both the physical and mental benefits. Attendants, often trained athletes themselves, guide bathers through exercises. They demonstrate stretches, correct posture, and ensure that movements are safe and effective. These guides act as both instructors and observers, creating a subtle educational environment where skill and awareness develop alongside relaxation and play. The combination of movement and subsequent bathing also reflects Roman ideas about health. They believed in balance between activity and rest, heat and cold, cleansing and indulgence. Exercise was never an isolated pursuit. It was integrated into the larger cycle of wellness that the bathhouse embodies. The body is prepared physically, mentally, and socially for the rituals that follow. You see bathers transitioning from the palestra to the baths, their skin slightly flushed from exertion, their muscles warm and responsive. The movement creates a sense of anticipation. The tepidarium's gentle heat will now ease muscles further, the caldarium will deepen relaxation, and the frigidarium will sharpen and invigorate. Each stage builds on the last, creating a continuous cycle of preparation, cleansing, and renewal. Even in the quieter moments, movement persists. Small gestures, from walking along corridors to stepping into pools, maintain circulation and focus attention on the body. The bathhouse encourages awareness, how you move, how you hold yourself, how you interact with others. It is a space where physical education merges seamlessly with social interaction and relaxation. You notice subtle rituals among bathers, stretching before entering heated rooms, rubbing oil into skin after exercise, or carefully observing others' techniques. These actions are simultaneously practical and social, signaling knowledge, respect, and participation. The bathhouse becomes a place of shared learning, where observation and imitation reinforce both physical skill and cultural literacy. The soundscape supports movement as well. Footfalls echo softly, the slap of sandals against stone, occasional laughter or exclamations, the gentle hiss of water from fountains. The auditory rhythm mirrors physical activity, creating a subtle tempo that guides energy and pace. You feel how the architecture and acoustics together shape movement, encouraging flow and harmony. Exercise also reinforces mental clarity. You sense how deliberate movement heightens awareness, focusing attention on posture, coordination, and breath. The Romans understood that a strong body supported a disciplined mind. In this way, Physical activity is not just preparation for bathing. It is a cognitive and sensory warm-up, aligning mind and body before entering spaces designed for both relaxation and observation. As bathers finish their exercises and transition toward the tepidarium, there is a sense of anticipation and readiness. The body is warmed, the senses awakened, and the mind alert yet calm. You notice how every step of the journey, from movement to heat, cold, massage, and social interaction, is interconnected, a seamless flow designed to maximize both health and enjoyment. By the time you approach the bathhouse again, you realize that exercise, like all other rituals here, is an integral thread in the fabric of Roman bathing. It is not an add-on, but a carefully considered element that enhances the physical, mental, and social experience. Having moved through exercise and bathing, your focus now shifts to the cuisine and nourishment associated with the baths. While food is not always the primary purpose, many bathhouses included small offerings of sustenance, creating a multi-sensory environment where the body was cared for inside and out. You notice attendants carrying trays with fresh fruits, nuts, honey, and occasionally small loaves of bread, offering them to bathers as they recline. The aroma of honey and figs blends subtly with the lingering sense of oil and damp stone. You can imagine dipping a piece of fruit into honey, tasting the natural sweetness as your muscles relax further. These small indulgences are part of the broader philosophy. Just as the Romans cared for the body through cleansing, heat, and massage, they also acknowledged the importance of nourishment in maintaining balance and energy. Drink accompanies food as well. Small cups of water or wine are passed along benches. Wine is diluted, often with water, to refresh without overstimulating. You notice how the act of drinking is social. Cups are offered, conversations continue, and gestures of politeness reinforce connections. Even simple acts like sharing a fruit or a sip of water carry meaning, emphasizing community alongside physical well-being. You see a family seated near a pool, children nibbling fruit while parents relax nearby. The presence of nourishment reinforces the bathhouse as a safe, controlled environment for both relaxation and social learning. Children observe etiquette, taste flavors, and understand the rhythm of care that extends from cleansing to consumption. Every element is integrated into a holistic experience. Food is also used symbolically. Honey and figs represent sweetness and vitality, reinforcing the idea that bathing is not just cleansing, but renewal. Attendants ensure portions are measured and distributed equitably, subtly teaching order and fairness, even amid indulgence. The act of receiving sustenance after physical exertion and immersion in water mirrors natural cycles: exertion followed by replenishment, heat followed by cold, cleansing followed by nourishment. Small meals or snacks also allow for conversation to flourish. You notice men discussing the quality of recent harvests, women exchanging advice on recipes or preservation, and children imitating the dialogue they overhear. The bathhouse supports not only physical health, but also intellectual engagement. Its design encourages communication, observation, and participation, making it a microcosm of Roman society. In addition, certain foods serve practical purposes. Honey and nuts provide quick energy, supporting endurance for repeated bathing cycles, massages, and movement. Water replenishes what was lost during sweating, restoring hydration and helping maintain circulation. Even small gestures, like sipping from a communal fountain, reinforce awareness of bodily needs. You observe how presentation matters. Fruits are often arranged neatly, oils and condiments in small bowls, bread cut into manageable pieces. Attendants move silently and efficiently, ensuring that bathers can focus on enjoyment without distraction. The combination of practicality and aesthetic care mirrors the attention given to architecture, heat, and massage. Everything is designed to maximize comfort and sensory engagement. The inclusion of food also highlights the Roman emphasis on moderation. Portions are measured, choices are simple, and indulgence is balanced with self-awareness. You notice that no one overeats or rushes. The act of eating becomes part of the ritual, a conscious, deliberate experience that complements the rhythm of bathing. Even the social dynamics of eating reinforce cultural norms. Sharing encourages politeness and observation of hierarchy. Discussions over food allow the exchange of information and ideas. Smiles, gestures, and laughter accompany bites, reinforcing the connection between physical satisfaction and social harmony. The bathhouse is, in this sense, both a place for the body and for the mind, integrating nourishment, conversation, and etiquette seamlessly. By the time you leave the area where food is offered, you notice that your body feels more than clean and relaxed. It feels sustained. The combination of heat, cold, massage, movement, and nourishment creates a holistic sense of well-being. You realize that the Romans designed the bathhouse experience to engage every sense, every muscle, and every aspect of human behavior, achieving a balance that few modern spaces replicate. As you move to the next area, you carry this awareness. The bathhouse is not only a temple of hygiene, but also a center of culture, nutrition, and social practice. It shapes not just the body, but the mind and the community, reinforcing Roman ideals through every carefully orchestrated ritual. Having explored exercise, bathing, massage, and nourishment, you now turn your attention to the rituals of relaxation and reflection that conclude a bathhouse visit. This is the stage where the Romans allowed their bodies and minds to integrate all that had come before. Reclining on warm marble benches, they let the sensations linger, appreciating the balance of heat, cold, touch, and nourishment. The air in these spaces is comfortable, neither hot nor cold, carrying a faint mix of oil, water, and the subtle aroma of herbs. You notice bathers settling in quiet contemplation, their movements slower, gestures more deliberate. Some close their eyes, allowing the rhythmic sounds of water and conversation to carry them into near meditative states. Others watch the interplay of light across mosaics or pools, appreciating art as part of sensory experience. You notice the importance of posture, reclining, lying on the bench, or even sitting cross-legged. Each position is chosen carefully to encourage relaxation and comfort. The weight of the body is supported by marble or cushions, and muscles, having been loosened by heat, cold, and massage, remain supple. Breathing deepens naturally, and awareness of the physical self merges with awareness of the environment. Silence plays a crucial role. Unlike the social bustle of the central halls, these areas encourage introspection. Whispered conversations are brief, laughter subdued, and movement slow. The bathhouse here functions almost like a sanctuary, providing a controlled environment where body and mind can rest. The rituals of bathing and exercise have prepared bathers to fully engage with this phase, making it both restorative and reflective. Attendants are present but unobtrusive. Their movements are minimal, mostly to maintain comfort or provide small services like fresh water or a towel. Their presence reinforces a sense of care and order, subtly reminding bathers that attention is available without intrusion. The atmosphere supports relaxation, teaching visitors to savor quiet moments, to observe themselves, and to absorb the environment fully. The visual environment contributes significantly to this stage. Mosaics, frescoes, and sculptures are designed to be appreciated slowly. Scenes of myth, nature, or abstract patterns encourage contemplation, providing mental engagement without overwhelming the senses. Even the play of light and shadow across the room offers a subtle dynamic, a rhythm that mirrors the ebb and flow of relaxation itself. You observe small groups of bathers who engage in quiet dialogue, often philosophical or intellectual in nature. Discussions may range from moral dilemmas to poetry or history, showing that the bathhouse was a space for the mind as well as the body. Conversation here is measured, reflective, and harmonious, reinforcing the values of balance, discipline, and attentiveness. The rituals of reflection also include simple gestures of self-care. Some bathers rub oil or perfumed water across their skin, smoothing it gently as a final act of attention. Others use a small sponge or cloth to gently dry or cleanse. These movements are slow, deliberate, and satisfying, integrating the tactile dimension of care with the reflective mood. Children and younger visitors are often guided to participate quietly, learning the rhythms of observation, patience, and self-awareness. In this way, the bathhouse functions as an informal school of behavior, teaching decorum, sensory appreciation, and bodily awareness simultaneously. Observation is as important as action, and learning occurs in subtle ways through participation and mimicry. Even the architecture supports reflection. Benches are positioned to allow privacy without isolation. Pools are situated to provide visual interest while maintaining calm. Corridors and rooms are designed to flow seamlessly, ensuring that movement between spaces does not disrupt the atmosphere. Every detail, from lighting to acoustics, contributes to the meditative quality of the environment. You notice the cumulative effect. After heat, cold, exercise, massage, and nourishment, the body is loose, the mind alert, yet calm, and the senses engaged, yet not overwhelmed. The rituals of reflection allow bathers to consolidate these experiences, integrating both physical and mental benefits. This phase reinforces the Romans' understanding of holistic well-being. Body, mind, and social awareness are inseparable. Finally, the bathhouse encourages a slow, deliberate departure. Bathers linger, savoring the sensations, observing others, and appreciating the space. Leaving becomes a continuation of reflection, a gentle transition from immersive experience back to daily life. The rituals of relaxation and reflection mark the culmination of the bathhouse journey, leaving both body and mind harmonized, balanced, and restored. As your journey through the Roman bathhouse nears its end, it is time to focus on the ritual of departure and daily integration. Leaving the baths is more than a physical act. It is a transition from a controlled environment of warmth, water, and social harmony back into the routines and demands of daily life. How you move, what you carry, and how you re-enter the outside world are all part of the experience. You notice bathers dressing slowly and deliberately. Clothing is carefully retrieved from cubbies or lockers, folded with attention, and adjusted as it is donned. Sandals are slipped on with precision, and any residual traces of oil or moisture are wiped away. Even in this simple act, there is mindfulness, a final acknowledgement of the body that has been tended to, cleansed, and restored. The social dimension continues here. Farewells are exchanged, brief nods or words of acknowledgement, marking the conclusion of communal interaction. You notice how relationships formed in the bathhouse persist subtly beyond its walls. Observations, conversations, and shared experiences leave impressions, influencing social ties, networks, and even future interactions. The bathhouse extends its influence, shaping behavior and thought even after departure. Water and temperature have lingering effects. Your skin retains warmth and subtle moisture, muscles remain supple, circulation is optimized. You are aware of a lingering freshness and clarity, a sense that the body has been reset. Walking through the streets or courtyards, you notice the contrast with the outside environment. Air, sound, and temperature are sharper, yet your body feels prepared, resilient, and alert. You consider the psychological impact. The bathhouse has provided more than cleanliness. The rituals of immersion, scraping, massage, and reflection have created a sense of order and balance. Stresses from the day, social or political concerns, have been softened by the sensory and social cycles of the baths. There is a quiet confidence that comes from having participated in a controlled, restorative environment, a mental clarity that complements physical renewal. As you step into the broader environment, the scents of oil, herbs, and warm stone linger faintly. Each breath reminds you of the sequence you have undergone, the harmony achieved through deliberate design and practice. You carry the lessons of rhythm, observation, and balance into the streets. Attention to posture, grace in movement, and awareness of social cues, all refined by the bathhouse experience. The bathhouse also serves as a marker of time and routine. Visits are often scheduled to complement work, social obligations, or personal leisure. You notice the discipline inherent in the practice. Preparation, sequence, duration, and reflection all require attention and timing. Through these routines, Romans integrate wellness into daily life, embedding physical, social, and mental care into the fabric of civilization. Even as the day progresses, the echoes of the bathhouse persist. Conversations from within, laughter, splashes, and the soft rhythm of scraping and massage leave mental impressions. You find yourself recalling the sensory details, the heat of the caldarium, the shock of the frigidarium, the smooth glide of the strigil, the weight and motion of massage, and the calm of reflection. These memories reinforce habits, social norms, and cultural values, extending the bathhouse's influence beyond its walls. Departure rituals also include personal preparation for reintegration. Clothing is adjusted for comfort and social presentation, hair may be dried or arranged, and minor grooming completed. Attendants or family members may assist, reinforcing communal care while preparing each individual to navigate the external world confidently. The bathhouse ensures that departure is orderly, intentional, and dignified. Social awareness heightened. Romans understood that true wellness extends beyond the immediate environment. It is about how one carries oneself, interacts with others, and moves through life after care has been given. Even children, having participated in guided versions of these rituals, leave with lessons in etiquette, observation, and self-care. The bathhouse thus becomes an informal school of civic behavior, shaping the next generation as effectively as it rejuvenates the current one. As you take your final steps away from the bathhouse, you carry a profound understanding. This space is more than marble, water, and heat. It is a synthesis of engineering, culture, social practice, and wellness philosophy. The rituals practiced here, exercise, immersion, scraping, massage, nourishment, reflection, and departure, form a continuous cycle of care and observation designed to sustain the body, sharpen the mind, and integrate social awareness. Leaving the bathhouse, you feel complete. Your body is cleansed, your muscles relaxed, your senses awakened, and your mind attuned to rhythm, order, and observation. You step back into daily life carrying not only the freshness of water and the warmth of heat, but also the lessons of balance, discipline, and interconnectedness that the bathhouse imparts. It is a place where civilization, wellness, and sensory experience converge seamlessly.